Let's go. We are live. Welcome. This is Demi's Views, and today we're beginning another journey, starting a series that I actually will finish to some extent. And even if I don't, this video alone is good enough to set this series apart. So this series is called the Microsoft investigation. So, with the help of my good friend, Detective Demi, not good friend, is literally me, but with his help and my presentation skills, we have, and because Detective Demi is a reserved person, he has his head inside his work, he understands his craft, and he does that kind of stuff. And he was responsible for the first investigation, and I let him present it, but he wasn't that good at it. So this time I'm going to be presenting the information that he learned during his investigation, and we used a broader approach, going across fully analyzing a full report, and I will add extra commentary on the different things that I understood from that thing. So but let me just add in the chat feed so that it will show up eventually. But if anyone shows up, just say hello and I'll respond to you. But for now, and we're not doing much screen sharing because I've been learning screen sharing is gonna be quite hard for me at this point in time, because it's just my information is not good enough to be screen shared. But so it's mostly me just talking to the camera today. But it's great to be back streaming. Good to have some nice music flowing. Good to have some nice times and nice people going through. We have Groovezilla in the background. We have me on this chair. I could have been using the other big chair. Second thoughts, let me actually switch to the big chair, because the big chair is more comfortable. So I'm going to switch. Let me put this away. And also, this is not my studio, it's my mother's studio. So that's why it's so professional. I don't have the time for this. No, I do. I do have the time for this. It's just I don't have a space. But yeah, I've posted this on the Instagrams, and I hope that they see it and join me at some point. Because Detective Demi sure is in spirit, because he's me. But yeah, it's a great time here. But let's get down to business. So let's go over with an overview of Microsoft, the corporation. Microsoft, and this is an excerpt from the official Wikipedia page of Microsoft. Microsoft Corporation is an American multinational technology corporation which produces computer software. Let me pause the music for a bit. This is a moment that doesn't need music. Produces computer software, consumer electronics, personal computers, and related services. Headquartered at Microsoft Redmond campus, located in Redmond, Washington, United States. Its best known software products are the Windows line of operating system, Windows line of operating systems, the Microsoft Office suite, the Internet Explorer, and Edge web browsers. Rest in peace, Internet Explorer. Its flagship hardware products are the Xbox video game consoles, so Xbox 360, Xbox One, and of course the Xbox Series X and S, which are doing really well, because have you heard of this their plan? You can stretch out the purchase of the Xbox Series X and S by paying for the X, it's like $40 a month. But the thing is, with the $40 a month, you get Game Pass attached for that, and it stretches over 24 months. So it's 2 years payment, but you get it stretched out, and PS5 doesn't have that. It's a business strategy that works, and also it's good for them because it gives them extra money, because if you know these kind of models, for not buying it up front for a product, that it makes more money for the company. It was one thing that I learned in Nigeria with maths. You would have to, so it would be like there's a monthly payment for at 20% or something like that, and or something like if the the upfront price is 200,000 and this is in naira, so it makes more sense, and that's approximately, and I can't do the exchange rates offhand heart, but it's much lower, but 200,000 naira, and then the price in once you've paid everything for the, I've forgotten what we called that last one, the final price or whatever that was, is 23,000. How much were the payments in the individual payments, and how much was the percentage of the thing, or how much interest was added on top, because it adds a bit of interest on top. But it's very cool how they're doing that and still keeping their stuff in the supply and not bumping up the prices like Sony is doing with the PS5. And let's continue with the Microsoft Surface lineup of touchscreen personal computers. And the Microsoft Surface, don't really like those. They're still subpar in some ways, because like they're not as good as iPads or and not as good as Macs, which are the closest things that they have, like their closest competitors, and they're not objectively the best as in hardware standpoints, but they are designed beautifully. Like if you look at a Surface and the Surface lineup and how the ads and how the marketing around all these different products that Microsoft produces, they're amazing. Like they know how to use the internet. Like they have different series that are like explaining AI. I watched an episode about of that, and in the report that I'm analyzing, there was at the end of each section, for this one, there was like one or two videos that you could watch to show what they're doing in this report, which I'll get into in a second. And let's go on to the next sentence, where it says Microsoft ranked number 21 in the 2025 Fortune 500 rankings of the largest United States corporations by total revenue. It was the world's largest software maker by revenue as of 2016. It is one of the big five American information technology companies, alongside Google, Amazon, Apple, and Meta. But you could change the Google is interchangeable with Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google, which is basically still Google. Just you have all the other stuff that can be separated, and Alphabet acquires different things, not as much Google anymore. So today what we're investigating is a certain document produced by Microsoft themselves, so take it with a grain of salt, though they're actually quite diligent in how they're reporting all this stuff, called the Microsoft Impact Summary. It's an impact summary. So keep in mind that for the time being, there will be other times that I'll be searching across people, but today we're going to be investigating Microsoft's own report, called the Microsoft Impact Summary, and this affects the fiscal year of 2021. So that's from the beginning from April 2020 to April 2021. April 2021 to April 2022, because they have their fiscal year not tied to the calendar year because of like tax season and stuff like that. So in the document, they are talking about their impact, right? And they're talking about the things that they have are their priorities and how they separate this document into the different parts. The first one is to support inclusive economic opportunity. So we're going to look at that statement for a second there. It says support inclusive economic opportunity. So support is like help, that kind of thing. We know that. Inclusive, so usually when you are saying inclusive, we're like inclusive of minorities or sexual orientations. Economic, just money, and opportunity. Good distinction, not outcomes, but more opportunity, saying that you could, that's they're going for the opportunity and allowing businesses or people to keep moving forward. And then, yeah, that's how they stated that. There's a letter at the beginning of that, but I don't know if I forgot about it, and then I didn't feel like adding it at the end. Let me reduce the volume on my side. Okay, so he talks. Then the next one is protect fundamental rights. So protect, so guard. Fundamental, so things that are supposed to be for all humans, and rights, as in rights for all. Just the things that are given for people. So technically, fundamental rights are is a joint thing. So I could have done it as joint, but I did it separately. Create a sustainable future. This one's a bit iffy because sustainable is quite hard to determine, but it's a good thing because the way that they take it is not a vague proposition, but it's something that they understand, that is not, because we continue to run into different problems as the world goes along. So if you if you do things that are if you continue to make a plan, your plan will eventually be stopped because it doesn't last unless you have all the parameters. So that's why a plan from an all-knowing God would not stop working, because the plan is takes into account all the different variables across all time and across all dimensions, however many they are, and it's completely done like that. And so I think the best way that this should have been stated is that, but the thing is, because this sustainable future line is not only going towards carbon, it's not good. But if you wanted it to be like, it's more sustainable in the sense that you're getting rid of the problems that are currently in the future. Because what happened was that as I was doing the research, and Detective Demi was doing the research, and I was listening to a Jordan Peterson lecture. He was talking about how you can't really tell if something's going to be sustainable. You can't tell if something isn't sustainable because the future always knows more than is always going to be different from what you think it's going to be. Like science fiction 40 years ago did not predict that we would have pocket computers, not that are more powerful than the ones that took us to the moon and that kind of thing. And the fact that those weren't predicted and the social media aspects weren't predicted until 4 years ago. And even then, it was not even predictions. It was more like just following down the route, because there's this show, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like Black World or something like that, or Ink World or something like that. It's some kind of like a dystopian show where it explores these kind of concepts. Like one of them was about a rating system. So like there was like you would have a 4.2 or 6.5 or 5.3 rating on top of your head, and if you were it was up to 5. Yeah, it was up to 5. And if you had that sort of rating, a rating that was like that, it's not good, and it's kind of parroting the way that people are perceived in the world of social media. With you look extremely good with a good profile picture or a good portfolio of your achievements and your places that you've been and the things on that kind of statement. And even beyond that, in the way that we even critique ourselves without social media, but amplified by social media. And then the final item and section of this thing is called earn trust. So in this, Microsoft has been quite untrustworthy in the past. It was part of a scandal that got them sued and started to push Bill Gates out of the company. I don't even really like Bill Gates. I like Microsoft, but I don't like Bill Gates. But to push those two, it started to push him out of the company because they were quite shady back in the day. They were causing trouble and they were being reckless. They were being even oppressive to different companies, like making others making other browsers suffer and like be hurt by their by Windows because they're not using Internet Explorer when it was being beat by like things like Google and Yahoo and things that and not and no, why am I saying Google and Yahoo? I mean like Chrome and Firefox eventually, but then they were cracked down on and they had to fix themselves and they lost a lot of power. They had to come back. They were still in the lead with the operating systems, and it doesn't look like they're going to lose that anytime soon. But they got that win. They got that win in a sense. They got that loss, that lose, that loss, and since then, they've been able to turn it around. And this is why they need to earn trust, because still a lot of people don't like big tech. They don't like the big five, especially. And the big five, if you're thinking of the ones that are the most untrustworthy, you would say Amazon and maybe Meta, then Amazon, then Google, Apple, then Microsoft. Most people don't remember Microsoft all that much. They'll just be like, oh, I'm using Windows, but okay, that was made by Microsoft, you know. But because you don't buy physical products as much, and also even the latest updates to Windows 11 was a free update for most people within last year, and I think it ends this year or something like that. The free updates to Windows 11 before you still have to start paying for it and everything. People don't remember paying for Windows 11, and Windows 10 was supposed to be the last one, but it looks like they've already announced that Windows 12 will be in 2024, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, people don't really remember Microsoft, so they don't remember that it's shady. Only people that have dug deep and know the history of tech know that Microsoft was quite a shady company. But in recent years and under Satya, I've forgotten what his last name is, really have focused on different things and started to win in different markets, with the tech market being under their they're starting to rule and starting to even outperform their competitors, and starting to make those business moves that are making waves and helping them to make millions and become $1 trillion company in as of I think 2018 or something like that. We'll get to that when we're analyzing their annual reports and analyzing that in a sense. But let's move on. Let's dive deep into the different sections of this document. It was a 24-page it kind of looked like a PowerPoint presentation, and so it's a 24-page presentation in a sense, and I condensed it into a 10-page document with how many words does it have here? Let me see. Let me increase the volume if you're not hearing this for sure. Okay, there you go. Okay, let's get this. I'm trying to get the words. Okay, we have 3,228. Most of them are quotes directly from the thing, so it's not most. I didn't write a lot of my own stuff in here, so it's mostly quotes directly from them. But we'll get to the different parts of this in a second. So let's move in. So the first one is support inclusive economics opportunity. In the structure of this document is that you have commitments. They have their impact so far, so of that year or in the up until that point, since they had set the goal or since they had done such and such. And so they make a commitment, they say the thing, they say what they've done, and also a very interesting thing, they show what it's their work in action, so a link or something to show it's in practice, and we'll watch some of those videos today. I forgot that's what I was gonna share. I forgot about that part. But then as well, they are also show this a very intriguing part where they show what they learned about what they say that they learned about the certain goal that they were trying to achieve. So for their commitments that they showed, they have some major commitments, and the major commitments for supporting economic. I need to add something that makes a subwoofer or whatever. I've forgotten what that called, so that it's less in my ears because it's quite loud. So their commitments are to ensure access to technology, skills, and opportunity, and to also protect public health. Under those goals, you got bring a portable broadband to more than 43 million people in underserved. I said underserved. Underserved communities around the world by July 2022. So we'll see if they actually get this completely done, because July 22 just passed. We're in August, and a happy new month to all of you, including our work to 8 US cities with significant broadband adoption gaps. And I searched what affordable broadband is, and it's according to the internet. I can't remember the source. Let me check the source. Let me get the source. Let me get the source for you ladies and gentlemen. Still, we have nobody that's joined, but we'll get them. They'll eventually show. God, please bring someone. Bring someone, Lord. Where is it? And also, I was looking for apples. I wanted to see, maybe after we're done this, we can do an Apple one. And Apple is surprisingly not doing any CSR reporting. They do have some they have some stuff that they're doing, because like they had their net zero thing, but you'll see how intriguing that eventually turns out. You'll see. Let me see. Where is it? Okay, there it is. No. Oh no, that works. That works. Okay. I forgot that if you close the thing for the live stream, it doesn't turn off the live stream, but the only thing that turns off the live stream is going to the site where the live stream is being played, because I am using OBS, I have to broadcast it to the page that is responsible for posting my stuff, and then it will work. But for according to the so we're looking at the World Bank blogs, okay, and this is 2014 stuff, and they state, according to the International Telecommunications Union, ITU, broadband can be considered affordable when it is at or below 5% of the average monthly income. So they're stating that if you have to achieve affordable broadband, it doesn't have to be free. It just has to be at or below 5% of the income. So I don't know how. If I know that here in high income places here in like US and these kind of places, where we have 18 million people that are out without access to affordable broadband, according to this graph here. I don't know where this graph is coming from. I think it's also from the ITU. Yeah, I think it's from the ITU. Yeah, it's from ITU as well. That says that high income have 18 million. Europe and Central Asia have 79 million people without broadband. Middle East and North Africa, 211. Latin America and the Caribbean have 245 million people without affordable broadband. South Asia, 333 million people. East Asia and the Pacific region, Pacific Islands, 438 million. And for China, 675 million. India, 742. And for Sub-Saharan Africa, 770 million people. That's actually quite a lot, because it's there's about 1.6 billion people in Sub-Saharan Africa, and no, in Africa in general, I'm pretty sure, yeah. And so for basically a billion people it's like 0, 7, 2. So it's 980 million people, and 81 million people, not approximately. I don't know where they get their statistics from, so it might not be true. Let's just, but for the sake of today, we're just gonna say 981 million people don't have the access to the affordable broadband. Doesn't mean that it's not available, not something that they could have, but something that they don't have at the moment. And Microsoft is promising to do 43 million by 2022. It's something that they promised around 2017, I'm pretty sure. And so 43 million is a goal that is quick if they're doing it over a 5-year plan. If they can do it 5 times, that will be 43 times 5. Let me check that. 43 times, no, let me just do it through my mind and my brain. 5 times 3. 4 times 4, 2 times 200, and 215 million in 5 times. So that's in 25 years they do 215 million. But if you see, it takes a bit. The thing is, the way that they're doing these things, it will get faster anyways. Because by doing this, they get more people that are able to buy the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, because they can now buy and digitally purchase things and get Xbox Game Pass and give them some extra money so that they can do the same thing for millions more people. And we'll get to what they've gotten so far and how close they are to that goal, because they stated here in their impact summary. So in the next goal that they have under ensure access to technology, skills, and opportunity, they state that they would like to help 25 million people worldwide to learn digital skills to pursue in-demand jobs by December 2021. So this is another one that I don't know. I don't remember seeing. We'll see. I'm not. I know I just did this, but like I didn't really read through it. I read through it, but I didn't really sink into it because I wanted to make this video, and I had to make the description and the thumbnail and also do some other stuff. But yeah, they say that they want to help 25 million people worldwide to learn digital skills, and it's a good goal. To 25 million people are a lot of people. It's a lot of people. It's several cities worth of people, and if you can get 25 million people to learn these skills and learn how to live in this digital economy, well, it's gonna be a good time. And increase access to equitable computer science education. This one is a bit contentious in a sense, because it's like increase access to equitable computer science education. So it's like it's a bit, but I get what they're saying because it's equitable, as in fair and fair. Fair. The looking at how they're seeing fair, it doesn't look too vague and moving. So like they can't. They're not. It doesn't look like they're using it for too little to say to do too little or do too much. In like forcing other people but it looks like they just want to make access available to as many people as they can because they want more engineers and more people to help them out. And it's a bottom line thing, but it's also quite helpful because you enable engineers and people to move the economy and move the different things forward. But let's move on to the next point. Increase access to data, a key tool for addressing societal and business challenges by establishing 20 new data collaborations by 2022 with nonprofits, universities, companies, and governments. That government's one can make a lot of people scared. But in a sense, it's also quite helpful because if you have all the data from all the different food industries, for example, you're able to understand how many people are what things are making people sick. And if you're able to get that, you're able to understand what is going on with that certain group of people and what is going on in that industry, who is making people sick, who needs tighter regulations in a sense, and who needs people to, and whether industry needs some correcting and is causing problems out in that it doesn't need to be causing. I'm not a fan of some regulations. Like monetary regulation is hard to do. It's hard to do right with inflation and even interest rates because the thing goes stronger and weaker because it helps out people that are in debt, but people that have been helping their having their wages well, it doesn't help too well. But with all the other stuff, with the nonprofits, we're back to Microsoft now, with nonprofits, helping nonprofits, universities, companies, and government, and universities and companies, that can help quite well if you can. Data is something that is very needed, is something that is emerging, that though we knew had data, you wouldn't be able to understand data and get access to your data and have measures that are being sent to a server that you can catalog this data easily. And like you can have a seismic thing that is like tracking these things and being digitized and sent to a place that you can keep the records for millions of years and you don't even have to use much paper anymore. You can even, I wonder if they have like hooked it up to like a tablet or something so that you don't have to use paper anymore. You just have to make sure that you're connected to some kind of power. But I wonder but it looks like it's also moved, the pen thing is also moved by the Earth. So since it's moved by the Earth, as long as you have something that continuously have power and is able to connect and do that kind of thing, you could eliminate paper, but I don't think you will immediately, because if a strong earthquake goes by that doesn't necessarily damage the tool, it could damage the power supply and stop the tracking, and that'll be terrible because we want to know how big the earthquake was or is, because they need it in real time to tell everyone what's happening. And the final goal that they have under unsure access to technology, skills, and opportunity is to help bridge the disability divide through a new 5-year commitment launched in April 2021 to expand accessibilities in technology, the workforce, and the workplace. Very interesting. It's very intriguing how they said that last portion in technology, the workforce, and the workplace. So it's separating the two, as in workforce as in the people, I'm assuming, and because workforce is the people that are forced, like not force as in that sounds weird, but like workforce as in the people that are doing stuff, because forces act and forces act on things, and workplace is the place. So like with different things like at home stuff and stuff like hybrid work or having a good environment at the place, that kind of stuff. And for protecting public health, and with COVID and everything, but also outside of COVID, and with their also cool stuff with their initiatives with AI and all that cool jazz, And their goal here is a 5-year, $60 million investment in AI for health, AI for health, to empower organizations with AI and data science to help them improve the health of people and communities worldwide. I'm still not seeing any. Is anybody here? No. Why is nobody here? That's kind of sad. Does it not show any? How am I going to find out who's here? Let me go back to my YouTube Creator Studio and see if anyone has joined. If you've joined, just feel free to say hello. Say hello to us over here in the stream. And it seems like no one's joined yet. So if you want to just say hello, please. I'm getting. But what do you mean average view durations? We've not had a single view or duration view. I'm assuming that I count as a view for some reason. I haven't gotten a single chat message and not a single view. We'll get views later. It's not time to get views. But let's move on to their impact. Impact in their different goals. I didn't put it under characterize the different things. I just wanted to go through them individually, and I eventually started to add the different bigger goals that they put on top of those things, but I'm going to now go through the different things that they've said. So the first goal that they said that they showed their impact on and how they've done, and they categorize this as their impact so far. So for goals that they haven't fully achieved, they say that the impact is not fully been given out, but the impact will be measured out soon. Or like the impact that has been done so far is the one that they are categorizing. So for the first goal, they stated, for the first impact item, they stated, they helped more than 33 million people in underserved communities globally gain access to affordable broadband coverage, and launched pilots in 8 U.S. cities to increase digital equity. Pilots, I tried to find, was wondering why is Microsoft flying out pilots? I was confused, but I found out that pilots in this sense is just to try out. It's like pilots of a TV show in a sense, of not the pilots in a TV show, but like pilots as the pilot episodes. So to figure out which methods are working, which methods work in dispersing broadband across the world. So like it's different research, so you can have a pilot study to know if something is viable for to move forward. Sometimes it's to make sure that something is viable to make money, or viable to just do what you're supposed to do for the reason. So like if you're saying for this it's affordable, so it has to be something that is normal and something that is tangible. But when it says affordable broadband coverage, it's talking about that. And also it's very intriguing because though it said that it's supporting inclusive economic opportunity, and it's very intriguing because Microsoft is being streamlined. It's not being like a savior of all mankind or some kind of savior that is trying to do stuff. It's doing what it knows how to do. It's ensuring access to technology and doing AI for public health. Not saying, oh, we're gonna give food and help homeless and build shelters and stuff like that. While they could do those things, it's not what they're good at. They can fund people that want to do that and help them with their AI generations and help them with their strengths and the different things that they want to do with those things. But it's not their job. It's not their expertise. So they're doing these things and helping out in the ways that they can, or claiming that they are. So we'll still do some more digging and find out if they're all lying to us, but we'll see. But it's very intriguing how much they report on what they're doing, and it seems like no one's coming to call them out on their promises at the moment. And though people are not really talking about them anyways, but I want to change that and put Microsoft through a spotlight, and maybe one day I'll be like, why did I do this? I will still keep it up because the lies will be exposed and we'll know what Microsoft was doing back in 2022, or what they said they were doing. But we'll see what we'll see in the future. So I can't be completely right, and will never be until the world is redeemed. 1,460, next point, 1,460 tech volunteers helped teach 580 computer science classes in 450 high schools in the US and Canada. 44% of students identified as being from a racial or ethnic group historically excluded from computer science careers. So most likely I don't understand that last part, that 44% of students. I understand where it's coming from, because that makes sense, because computer science in poor cities won't be doing that. In poor school districts would not be prioritized as much, as well as like the arts and stuff like that, because they're not as influential or don't have the same treatment as like things like math or science. Even science will have like a lower priority, or like less budget in the sense. So Microsoft coming in and doing this is very intriguing, employing or helping these tech volunteers across US and Canada to teach the different high schools. And because poor people are usually people of racial minorities are usually found in these different poorer schools, it's very good to see that they're getting the computer science training and being able to be exposed to this sector of the world, and the increasing sector of the world that is doing a lot of stuff, and is one of the things that the government either has to crack down on or let it be in different ways. And now and very intriguing that they were able to go into these different schools. And if we have 1,460 tech volunteers with 580, let's get the math on that. So 1,460 divided by 580. And that is two per school. So we have about 2 per school that are doing this. And it's tech volunteers. It could be, it doesn't say that they're paid, but it could be a person that is paid by Microsoft for some reason, but they were funded by Microsoft to do this, and they were not paid for the teaching exactly. I'm pretty sure, but because that's what volunteering is, it's not, you don't get paid for it. Okay, that was a weird glitch. I was like, I was like, that was cool because I was just looking at it as like, what is happening? It was a weird glitch on my side, and but we move. The diversity for the first time in their history, their diversity and inclusion report gave the employees the opportunity to let me close this thing off. Maybe that's what's causing this problem. The Microsoft Studio, I was closing that off. So 1,460. No. Our For the first time, our diversity and inclusion report gave employees the opportunity to identify as having a disability. As of June 2021, 7.1 of U.S. employees self-identified as having a disability, giving us insights to ensure needed resources and support can be put in place. So very intriguing. They've been able to. It's in the lessons they talk about how. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit. In the lessons they talk about how they can, because they learned these different things, they are able to more aptly understand the circumstances and understand what is going on, and understand how to help people that have disabilities, between ADHD and to even like the severe cerebral palsy and things that are different things like that. So that 7.1 is I don't know how reliable this could be, but it's self-identified, so can't be too deceitful, because I don't think there are too many packages that Microsoft offers for people that are disabled, because if it was, it would be a bit higher because of people just identifying as having ADHD or something like that, because it's technically a disability in some senses, because people that have ADHD have slightly different brains and things that are quite different in ADHD, though most people do have problems with focus and stuff like that. But ADHD is a different thing because it's focused on the chemical called glutathione. Yeah, I learned that in a book called The Boy Crisis. People that have watched the last stream will know about that one. And I finally finished it. I finished it like 3 weeks ago. No, not 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And it was good. It was a great book. I'm compiling something else for a stream that I want to do. I have support. I'm supposed to still be doing a series on that, but it's on hold for this series to be done because I'm doing this one daily, or somewhat daily. And since I'm doing that, but back to the topic. I know we got on ADHD thing, but it looks like these numbers are still quite good, and for a company that is about 30,000 employees, a very huge company, in across the globe. So we're just talking about U.S. employees. 7.1 is not too big of a margin, and it's not that small as well. So it's something that you can verifiably you could guess I haven't gone too deep into to know how much of a lie or how much of the truth this is, but it's, from the first glance, it's a good marker. So for the next point, they have 42 million learners around the world have accessed digital skills training and resources, thanks in large part to over 240 public-private partnerships with governments, non-profits, and customers. So public-private as in things that are public as in government, private as in non-profit and nonprofit and companies. So when it says governments, nonprofits, and customers means you're a company that is using a Microsoft project. So this would include something like, in a rudimentary sense, the Minecraft Education Edition, and as well as to the other edges, they have, I think they have this like Google certificate thing, but for Microsoft's, and so that's individuals thing, and then governments, they have so many deals with the governments. It's almost insane that it's kind of creepy for how amount of things that they have, even just with the U.S. government alone. But they seem to, but in this case, it's just talking about digital skills, so not like building a VR thing for the government or something like that, but for digital skills. So for different things like that in non-military uses, most likely. Because though the military needs digital skills, they kind of created digital skills, if you're in the US at least, and the Western world. So if you're outside of those two places, you're good. You might not have the skill or something, but if you're in the 3 dozen or so countries that are considered Western civilization, you already have to a certain degree these digital skills. But Microsoft has helped 42 million people to access these digital skills. We helped launch 9 open data collaborations with nonprofits, universities, companies, and governments to promote equitable access to data, in contrast to their goal of 20 new data collaborations. I remember that, and also remembering that the broadband thing, they're really close to their goal because they have to finish it by July 2022. So if they've not done it, then they'll have to tell us in April next year. And since they have, they were already at 333 million at in 2020, in the fiscal year of 2021, and we'll see what happens when it's the end of that goal comes around, and see if they have reached the 42 million people that they have planned to reach out to. So moving on to the next one, we introduced new accessible by design features in Microsoft 365, enabling more than 200 million people to create and share more accessible content. So that's very intriguing. So they're using their database of people with 200 million, saying that they have around 200 million people that are accessing their platforms in the Microsoft 365 suite, from Office to the Azure and the different things that are in that suite of software that are ranging from things that I use, so like the Microsoft Word, and things that companies use, like the computer for sustainability and the planetary computer, and researchers use. As of 2021, more than $410 million has been committed in cash, technology, and other resources to support ongoing COVID-19 response efforts. Good job, Microsoft, helping with the COVID-19 pandemic that has finally slowed down and is coming to an end, no matter what Trudeau and and Biden wants to say. COVID-19 is over. Fauci, you can't tell us that we're going back into lockdowns anymore, because people don't like them, and they slowed our economy to a halt, and have started to mark the end, in a sense, to China's unstoppable growth, which is intriguing. I guess it might be a sign for people that have been trying to be like China that it's not gonna work, because once you do that for pandemics, it's not gonna help you out, because that's what I was reading. But I don't know. Maybe that's something that is not true, and I've just been lying to myself. Like you have to be careful in these ways, you know. But now we have the thing that I've been waiting for as we go through all this, and we have a hyperlink to watch. We have a video that has been given to us on the story of a person called the story of Xbox Go Copilot, and we're looking at Lindsays Story. And I'm going to share the screen for us. Hello, welcome to Spotify, guys. And oh no, I need to increase the volume. I'm increasing the volume there, and I'll increase the volume over here so that you can really hear it.
I would like to describe myself as a creative. I like to write. I really like to read. I love to play video games.
Growing up with Lindsay, having cerebral palsy, was growing up as it was with any younger sister, I'd say. I've always made sure that she was included in whatever I was doing.
But there were always certain games that I was like, oh, I wish I could play this, but it's impossible. I don't have the fine motor skills to be able to do it.
I remember reading about Copilot mode when Microsoft announced it. It's basically two controllers being used for one input. The character on the screen could both be moved forward by player A and player B. I immediately hit on the fact that that was going to be something that me and Lindsay could do.
The very first thing that I was able to do on Copilot was make a little stone house on Minecraft. I cried. I legitimately cried because I was finally free to experience all these video games that my brothers always talked about.
Yeah, this is a cool story, because like it's just so cool having someone that is just able to experience the joy and the fun of Minecraft in this new way with this accessibility feature called my Xbox Copilot, being able to play Minecraft and play Minecraft dungeons and all these different things, and not be bound by the limitations that has already been given, that have been placed on this person by the deformity that they were born with and the disability that they were born with. So it's very intriguing what Lindsay's story is, and it's very great that the brother is also there to care for the sister and play with the sister even as adults.
Xbox was the only place Lindsay could have had that experience. When the Reddit post happened, I was overwhelmed. I was expecting it to be, slightly popular, but no, it got thousands of upvotes. If I had gotten one person to learn about Copilot and use it in their family and have a similar impact, then this was worth it.
Everyone, regardless of their experience, has something to bring to the table. My dream for the future is a future where things like Copilot, it isn't big news because it's everywhere.
But that's very interesting how this story is. Like how she was able to, after doing all that struggle and all that, it's still a plug for for Microsoft nonetheless, but still, my Xbox wins. That's another reason why Xbox wins. Does PlayStation have Copilot? Let's check. PlayStation Copilot. PlayStation Copilot. Pilot. Where is it then? think it's that. Let's see. Okay. Does PS4 have a Copilot? Nope. Copilot does not exist in PlayStation at the moment. I assume, as I'm checking across the different articles here, and it looks like they are supposed to get it, but I don't think they have it at the moment. But it's still something that is like set to receive, to inherit it. Intriguing. But let's keep going with I was reading another. Okay, let me read it out for you. So it says that PlayStation 5 will be attempting to turn every video game into a multiplayer title with their own version of Xbox unique Xbox One Copilot feature, revealed through recently released patents shared to us by our friends at Let's Go Digital. The upcoming PlayStation 5 feature will allow players to collaborate anywhere. So we'll just skip past the other thing because it just says the same thing. It says, for example, if two players were able to collaborate to play a first-person shooter like Call of Duty or Destiny 2, then one player could be in charge of moving with the other in charge of aiming. Add another player into the mix, they could be in charge of shooting. Add a fourth player and they could be in charge of using equipment. So it's because that's how it works. They set it up for 4 people. I don't know how much you can do for Xbox. Let me see. Xbox Copilot. What's going on? Okay, it's been answered on my mom's phone. It's because my mom has her computer right beside mine. So at the moment, it's because mine's a laptop, can't work on. But it looks like. How many people can you use it for though? It seems that you can only use it for 2. You only have 2. So it looks like PlayStation wants to beat out with that, but I don't see anywhere that it's working in a sense. But maybe they're still working on it. But it's a cool story. It's a cool thing that they're doing, and that's amazing. And they also teamed up with Volkswagen to do some extra teaching and teach people about coding and stuff like that, and the other 55 of their largest companies to take on the issues of skilling and sustainability. So for the next one, for their lessons, very intriguing. Let's look at the lessons that they learned in their impacts, about their impact. That they said, new jobs in the digital economy do not necessarily require complete retraining. Employers and employees can work together to identify specific gaps and develop the digital skills needed, leading to more inclusive hiring and promotion opportunities. By partnering with governments and proven local partners, we can help build government capacity to deliver customized skilling and employment services at scale, ensuring millions of people can learn the skills most needed to succeed in their local labor markets. Because it's very intriguing, because I guess it's helping the government to create the different services, right? So that you can have certifications and different things that are globally recognized, or at least country recognized, So you can be like, oh, this guy's a proficient, like a US level 6 coder or level 6 programmer or something like that. And since you're able to know that, you can have a good resume or have good stability in the government as well, so that you can have that settled out. And because the thing about government jobs is that they have some of the best security of job security, because they're kind of fragile, and they're not fragile, but it's not many people. A lot of people want government jobs in a sense, but also a lot of people don't, because they don't like working for the government. But if you do land a government job, it's good. It's a job that you can stay in for a while. Then the next thing, expanding access to computer science courses is only a first step to achieve equitable outcomes. We must also help schools provide inclusive instructional practices and learning spaces, particularly for students from groups that have been historically excluded. So that's different people that maybe people with mental disabilities and people of racial ethnicity, from ethnicities that have not been in tech recently, historically. So African Americans and Africans in a sense, but Africans are able to make it. But I guess African Americans are the ones that would be excluded, and people out in Africa that are not immigrants, because immigrants are able to. Because I know, off the top of my head, a few people that a lot of people that are that are in the computer science genre right now, that also came from Nigeria, or and were able to study or enter the jurisdiction of this state. Okay, then the next thing that they have here, the last lesson that they have for this section, which is to support inclusive economic opportunities. I now know that off heart. We can't create the next generation of accessible technology unless we attract more people with disabilities to play a bigger role in helping develop it. And it's very intriguing because it makes sense. It makes sense because if you are able to get people that are smart, that have, like Lindsay said, that everyone has something to bring to the table, and if you have people that are kind of willing to be test dummies in a sense, or guinea pigs to a certain degree, to be able to get their income in their impact and not just be relying on studies and different things and researchers that you have to do extra funding, but it's an incentive for people to be honest, because if I can do my job better, I can get more promotions and more stuff. So if they, in the sense that if they are doing this right, they will get the people that they want to join them. I've already been for an hour. I don't know, maybe we should pause and then come back tomorrow, and then instead of the next part of the series being this, the next part of the series will just be the second part, because this one is also quite large, and then we have a video to watch, and I have some thoughts on this one specifically, because I did something on this and I still have to do some research on some things. So that's what I'm gonna do. So it's been fun. This has been a fun time. But let's recap what we've done so far. So we introduced Microsoft and as a company and as a corporation, and how big it is, and it's a $1 trillion market cap company, and has around, I don't know how much it has on the bank or something like that, but it has I think it was $168 billion in cash available for them to immediately capitalize on. And that's what they were able to use to buy Activision Blizzard in April as well. I think it was April. Yeah, it was April, and be able to own Call of Duty and now have that under Game Pass eventually. I'm assuming. But yeah, it's been and that deal will be finished, I think, in a few months. I don't know how that deal comes to a close, because the stuff that has been done are rolling out. So we got Overwatch 2 that is free to play. I think that wasn't going to be free to play if not for them, but I think it's free to play, something like that. But it's been a fun time. We then looked at the different things in the different sections, gave a quick overview of what they would be, looked at the structure, then went in depth on the support inclusive economic opportunity, and looked at the different commitments and the impact that they had gotten so far, and the lessons that they have said that they have learned. We even discussed a little bit on how they did that, but it's been a fun time.